Hi everyone, it's Emily and I'm back with another video sharing an exciting package that just arrived in the mail. And I know on this channel I've talked at length about these two Canadian websites and I'm going to be bringing them up again. In short, what's in this package are two of the very elusive, at least here in North America, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 games. So I haven't opened this up yet. I've just removed the shipping label and the outer tape so I can open it easily on camera. But what should be inside here is brand new sealed copies of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Torna the Golden Country. Let's open these up and I'll tell you a little bit about how I was able to get these for MSRP. So I ordered specifically from Video Games Plus for this package, but PNP Games Online was also offering these games at retail prices on their website. So I have reviewed Video Games Plus before when I bought brand new sealed 3DS games, and with Switch games, everything comes wrapped by paper. And here they are. So, as you can see, they are both the ESRB ratings here in the bottom. And when you turn them around here, you'll see that they're not World Editions, which on Switch games can be a little confusing, unlike the 3DS games, because they kind of hide the fact that they're UAB editions on the back side. But I'll share some close-ups of these shortly. So I guess quick story time about how this came to be. Apparently, if you are a store, you can go to Nintendo directly and request any of their Nintendo published Switch games to be reprinted. So apparently PNP Games has been doing this in the past, where they would go to Nintendo and request X amount of reprints to be made and sent to them. They've done this with Astral Chain, Bayonetta 1 and 2, and they've also done this with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the past. And I think it's only been recently that this has been more well known, especially on Twitter, that they have these games and have the ability to request more copies to be made. So I will share unboxings of both of these shortly, in case you guys are also interested in grabbing copies from either of these two stores. And looking at the serial numbers on the back, it does look like my Xenoblade Chronicles 2 game is actually not a reprint, and I'll show you where on the case you could look to verify that information on your copy as well. But my Torna the Golden Country is definitely a reprint. So I guess I'll turn the camera around and share where you can identify that information. Alright, so let's first check out the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 box. So I did mention how this was a first print. And how you can know that is basically this area here. So if you watched my 3DS cover variant video, I went into detail about what to look for in these Nintendo published games to tell what print run they are. And basically from that video, if we zoom in here, this barcode here basically indicates that this is a first print because it has a 0 at the end here. And the other area to look for is right above that, this little serial number. It has an A at the end, so that also lets you know that this is a first print run game. And I mentioned earlier how some of the World or the UAB Switch games look eerily similar to the North American games, unlike with the 3DS. And I will share a screenshot to show an example of this. The ESRB rating area will look a little different on non-North American print games. I'm not entirely sure why I have a first print run of this game, but this is what it looks like inside, and then the card here. If we check out the Torna game and zoom in on the back here, you'll notice that above the barcode we have a 1 here and a letter B. So that indicates this is a second print run. And I have a few other Nintendo published Switch games that have letters that go like A, B, C, D, E. So they've had a lot of different run releases. And I imagine we're going to have a lot more reprints of both of these games. So I'm curious how far these layers will extend on this game. But I will open this and I'm going to remove the DLC code. I might just flash it and cover up the number because I do plan to use it. So yeah, this does still come with the DLC code even though it is a reprint game. So this is basically just the expansion pass for this game. But when we open it up, we still have the nice cover art that was in the first print releases. And here's a closer look at the cart. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video just to let you guys know that reprints can be made of Nintendo published games. And if you're interested in buying physical copies of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and the DLC game, definitely just wait for reprints to be made instead of buying the way marked up eBay or Amazon copies. If you're really gung-ho to get the North American editions like I was as a collector. And since we know that 2 of these Canadian stores obviously can request reprints from Nintendo, I'm curious if more American retailers will start requesting reprints as well, or if Nintendo starts to realize that there is demand for these physical copies of these 2 games, especially with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 quickly approaching. So that is something to keep in mind, but if you want physical copies of either of these 2 games, I do recommend just to kind of stock Video Games Plus or PNP Games on Twitter and wait for the next wave of reprints to be available on their website. I believe PNP Games said that their next expected reprint wave is going to be this July. Video Games Plus will probably be somewhere around there too, but yeah, I definitely just recommend following both of those stores if you're really interested in getting one of these games at retail price. So I'll leave a link down in the description of both of these websites, as well as their Twitter handles if you want to follow them on social media for the latest updates about these reprints. And I have purchased from both of these stores and have them shipped to the US, and there have been no issues on that end. For me personally, Video Games Plus is a little cheaper, especially if you hit their free shipping criteria, which is 80 Canadian. Whereas Video Games Plus you will have to pay for shipping, but it's pretty minimal, I think, for the shipping rates these days. So I did check my credit card statement before filming, and I paid 108 and I think 16 cents after the Canadian dollars to USD conversion rate for both of these games and free shipping. So Video Games Plus I think is definitely a great deal, and PNP Games isn't too bad either. And I think this does definitely extend beyond the Xenoblade series. So any Nintendo published game, as long as they keep making Switch games, should in theory be eligible for reprints. So definitely don't overpay for these games, I think is the moral of the story. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and until next time, bye guys.